Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the name Anthony.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Have you ever met an Anthony and wondered, if their name has anything to do with their personality?
All the time.
No.
I'm super curious about this one.
Well, get ready to unlock some secrets because we're going way beyond that basic dictionary definition today.
Awesome.
We'll uncover the history, the meaning, the cultural impact, basically everything Anthony.
Sounds like a plan.
By the end, you'll practically be an Anthony expert.
I like it.
So first things first, let's talk meaning.
Okay.
Anthony actually comes from the Roman family name Antonius.
Makes sense.
But the exact meaning, that's where things get a bit mysterious.
Ooh, I love a good mystery.
Some believe it means priceless.
Priceless, huh?
Yeah. Others say of inestimable worth.
Interesting.
So right off the bat, we're dealing with a name that signifies value.
It's like the name itself has a legacy of importance.
Exactly. And that sets the stage for, well, everything else we're going to uncover.
Makes you wonder how a name with such strong roots in ancient Rome ended up becoming so popular around the world.
Right. It's like, how did we go from Roman emperors to, the Anthonys we know today?
Okay, so let's trace that journey.
Perfect.
We start, of course, in ancient Rome. Antonius was a super prominent family name back then.
Signifying.
Power, influence, you name it.
What?
As the Roman Empire grew,
The name spread.
exactly, it reached all corners of Europe.
And then?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
I'm intrigued.
Because the key figure in early Christianity, St. Anthony of Egypt, really boosted the name's popularity.
Oh, wow. A saint.
Yes, and not just any saint. He's known as the father of Christian monasticism.
So like a super influential figure.
Exactly. And his life, dedicated to solitude and prayer, well, it added a whole new layer to the name Anthony.
A spiritual depth.
You got it.
Oh,
So now we have this name connected to both powerful Roman families and a revered saint.
like a combo.
Talking about a powerful legacy. But wait, there's more.
More.
Oh, yeah. Fast forward to the Middle Ages. Anthony explodes in popularity in England.
Really?
It becomes a top name for everyone, from royalty to commoners.
Wow. Talk about transcending social classes.
It really shows how much the name resonated with people.
So ancient Roman heritage, a saintly boost, widespread adoption in England.
And yet Anthony is still relevant today.
It's mind-blowing how it's managed to stay, timeless.
Right. It's like the name found this perfect balance between tradition and modern appeal.
All right, so we've got the big picture, but let's zoom in on those saints we mentioned.
Okay.
St. Anthony of Egypt, the one who lived that life of solitude and prayer.
What about him?
What kind of impact did he have on the name's image, do you think?
Well, his dedication to spiritual pursuits added, I'd say, a contemplative, introspective aspect to the name.
Like a quiet strength.
Yeah, something like that.
And then there's St. Anthony of Padua,
Ah, yes. The patron saint of lost things.
the one people pray to when they can't find their keys.
Exactly. He's known for helping people recover lost items.
So does that, add a touch of practicality to the name Anthony?
Maybe. But it definitely brings a sense of warmth, of approachability.
It's almost like St. Anthony of Padua is looking out for all the Anthonys out there.
Uh-huh. I like that. Protecting them from losing their stuff.
Exactly. So between these two saints alone, Anthony gains spiritual depth, guidance, and even a bit of everyday helpfulness.
And that's not even touching on all the other fascinating aspects of this name.
You're right. It's time to dig even deeper and see what other secrets Anthony holds.
Let's do it. It really is amazing how much there is to unpack with just one name.
I know, right? And we've only just scratched the surface.
Speaking of surfaces, have you ever thought about how, just the sound of a name can shape our perception?
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, like how it sounds, how it rolls off the tongue.
I have to admit, I've been so focused on the history and the meaning that I haven't really thought about the sound aspect.
Well, think about Anthony. It has this certain rhythm to it, right?
It does. It kind of flows.
Yeah. And that flow, that combination of vowels and consonants, creates a sense of balance.
You're right. It's not harsh or jarring. It's strong, but also kind of smooth.
Exactly. And that smoothness makes it memorable, appealing even.
So it's not just what a name means, but also how it feels when you say it.
Totally. The sound evokes emotions, associations, just like the meaning does.
Wow, you've blown my mind a little bit.
Think about it. Names with sharp, short sounds. They might feel intense, maybe even a bit aggressive.
Right.
But names with softer flowing sounds, they might suggest gentleness, Calmness.
So with Anthony, even before you know the person, the sound of the name already creates a certain impression.
Precisely. It sets the stage, so to speak.
And then their personality either confirms or challenges that initial impression.
Exactly. It's like a foundation that the individual then builds upon.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. The history, the meaning, the sound.
Yeah.
What else is there to uncover about Anthony?
Well, we've talked about the name itself, but what about nicknames?
Oh, good point. Nicknames are like little windows into a name's personality.
Exactly. And Anthony has a bunch of interesting ones.
Like what?
Well, there's the classic Tony. Short, snappy, often linked to energy and charisma.
Yeah. Think Tony Bennett, Tony Hawk.
Exactly. So different. But Tony somehow fits them all.
It has that casual, cool vibe.
Right. Then there's Ant, even shorter, more informal.
Like a buddy nickname.
Yeah. And then Anth, a bit more quirky, unique.
I like that one. It's unexpected.
It's fascinating how these little variations can change the whole feel of the name.
Totally. It's like we're uncovering these hidden pathways within Anthony.
And each path leads to a slightly different side of the name.
Love that analogy. It shows that even a single name can hold so many different possibilities.
Exactly. And it's ultimately up to the individual to choose which side of the name they want to embody.
So, after this deep dive, what would you say is the key takeaway about the name Anthony?
I think it's this. Names are so much more than just labels.
Yeah.
They hold history, culture, personal meaning.
They're like these echoes of the past, connecting us to those who came before us.
Beautifully put. And by exploring a name like Anthony, we gain a deeper understanding of its richness.
We see its strength, its value, its timeless appeal.
And we realize that some names truly are priceless.
Speaking of priceless, I have a little challenge for our listeners.
What's that?
As you go about your day, I want you to think about the names you encounter. The names of your friends, your family, even strangers you pass on the street.
What about them?
What stories do their names hold? What hidden depths are waiting to be uncovered?
That's a great challenge. It's like a little treasure hunt, right?
Exactly. Because every name has a story to tell. And who knows, maybe your curiosity will lead you to some amazing discoveries.
And maybe, just maybe, those discoveries will lead you back here for another deep dive with us.
We'd love that. So keep those names coming, and we'll keep exploring their secrets together. It's really amazing, isn't it, how just one name can hold so much?
I know. We've been talking about Anthony for a while now, and I still feel like we've only scratched the surface.
Right. There's the history, the meaning, the sound, the famous Anthonys. It all adds up to something much bigger.
It's like weaving a tapestry, you know?
Yeah.
All these different threads coming together.
And with Anthony, one of the most interesting threads is that duality we talked about.
Oh, yeah. That push and pull between strength and compassion.
Like on one hand, you have the Roman origins, the powerful figures.
Mark Antony, Tony Stark. Definitely strong personalities.
But then you also have the influence of the saints, that numerology connection to the number 9.
Which is all about compassion and helping others.
It's like the name itself is balancing those two sides, strength and empathy.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Does that duality actually show up in people named Anthony?
Right. Like, are they more likely to be drawn to certain careers? Do they share certain personality traits?
I bet there's some fascinating research out there on the link between names and personality.
There has to be. Imagine all the correlations waiting to be discovered.
Even just anecdotally, think about the Anthonys we've talked about today.
Actors, scientists, chefs.
Such a diverse range of fields. But maybe, just maybe, there's a common thread there somewhere.
Maybe it's that drive we mentioned, that desire to make a difference in the world.
It could be to leave a mark, whether it's through art, through knowledge, through helping others.
What a beautiful legacy for a name to have, right?
Absolutely. A sense of purpose, of wanting to make things better.
I think that sums up our Anthony deep dive perfectly.
It does.
So, to all the Anthonys out there, we say, embrace your name.
Own its history, its complexity, and make it your own.
And to everyone who knows an Anthony,
take a moment to appreciate their unique strengths.
Because you never know what amazing things an Anthony might accomplish.
Well said.
And as always, if this has sparked your curiosity about other names,
we want to hear from you.
Send us your questions, your suggestions.
We're always ready for another deep dive.
Until then, happy name hunting, everyone.
Happy hunting.